Zaru stood alone at the entrance of the Oakwood Country Club, clutching a white envelope that held a check worth $8,500. It was meant to be a gift for his younger brother Remy's wedding. A gift he had saved for months by taking on extra work and sacrificing a vacation. He thought it would mean something. The ceremony had just ended, and guests were moving toward the reception hall. As Zaru approached the check-in table, a hostess scanned the guest list and frowned. "I'm sorry. I don't see your name," she said. She looked again, then reached beneath the table and handed him a plain card. In bold black print were the words, "Limited access guest." Before Zaru could speak, his mother Bola appeared beside him, her hand soft on his arm. "There was a mix-up," she whispered. "No seat or plate for you, but don't worry, just mingle and enjoy." Then she walked away smiling, leaving Zaru speechless. Inside, the hall sparkled with laughter and gold-trimmed tables. Zaru drifted toward the large seating chart displayed near the entrance. He searched line by line. His name wasn't there. His parents, his brother, even distant cousins were listed at table 1, the head table. But not him. His heart sank. He turned his gaze to the gift table. Stacked high with shiny boxes and elegant envelopes, one stood out. A plain white one with Zaru written in the corner. Inside it, the check. A check they had forgotten came from a man they didn't even save a chair for. "They didn't forget me," he whispered. "They erased me." With steady hands, he pulled his envelope from the pile and walked out without a word. As Zaru headed to his car, Remy came running out of the ballroom. "Zaru, what are you doing? Where are you going?" Zaru didn't stop. "Home," he said. "Enjoy the wedding." He got into his car and drove away, leaving behind the music, the laughter, and the lie that he mattered. As he drove, images from the day flashed in his mind. The seating chart, the paper card, Bola's fake smile. But the pain wasn't new. It was just uncovered. The real wound had been forming for years. This day had only ripped the bandage off. When Zaru got home, he dropped the envelope onto his kitchen counter. He looked around his apartment, the place he had built for himself. His degree, his job, his life. None of it had come from handouts. Yet it had never been enough for his family. He opened the envelope and stared at the check. "I thought I was doing this out of love," he muttered. "But maybe I was still begging to be seen." The room felt heavy, his heart even heavier. That night, Zaru sat alone and remembered another time, when he was 15 and wanted a new mountain bike. He had earned nearly every dollar by mowing lawns and doing odd jobs. But just before he reached his goal, Bola and Gerald called a family meeting. Remy failed math, Bola said, faking concern. "He's grounded. He's depressed. All his friends have that new game system. Let's help him feel better." Zaru's eyes widened. "I'm saving for my bike," he said. "We're all family," Gerald replied. "We support each other." The next day, Zaru's savings bought Remy a console. Remy celebrated. No one ever mentioned the bike again. That was the moment Zaru realized his role in the family. Provider, but never priority. When Remy was accepted into a private college, their parents paid in full. Zaru went to community college, worked nights, took out loans, and graduated with honors. Bola always said, "You're independent. We don't need to worry about you." It wasn't a compliment. It was an excuse. He carried the weight while Remy got the praise. 3 months before the wedding, Bola asked him for a favor. "Remy's loan isn't enough," she said. "But your credit is perfect. Just cosign. It's only $15,000. You won't have to pay." Zaru hesitated. But as always, one look at their faces, hopeful, expectant, demanding, and he folded. "Okay," he said. That signature tied him to a wedding he would later be excluded from. The next day after the wedding, the messages began. "You embarrassed us," Bola wrote. "Your brother is devastated," Gerald added. Not one of them asked why he left. Not one of them apologized. Then his uncle called. "Let it go," he said. "It was just a small mistake." But it wasn't small. And it wasn't a mistake. That same evening, Zaru got a call from the only family member who truly saw him, his grandmother Tay. "I saw everything," she said gently. "It was shameful. And it's not the first time. It's not you, Zaru. It's her. Bola is broken inside." But you are not. Her words were like a bomb. You are a good man, she said. Don't let them rewrite this. Don't go back. That night, something shifted inside Zaru. For the first time, he didn't feel like a victim. He felt like someone who had the power to walk away. He opened his laptop and wrote a short, respectful email to Sophie, the wedding planner. He kept the tone polite. Hi, just wondering if my RSVP was received. There was some confusion at the reception. A few days later, she replied. And everything changed. Sophie's email was simple, but devastating. Yes, your RSVP was confirmed weeks ago, she wrote. You were assigned to table 1. 3 days before the wedding, your name was removed from the list by the groom's mother. I've attached proof. Zaru read the email 4 times. The lie was confirmed. His exclusion was deliberate. Not an accident. Not chaos. A decision. And Bola had made it. Zaru said nothing to his family. He waited. Then came the bank letter. Remy missed the first loan payment. They were now both at risk. Gerald called, his voice tight. Zaru, the credit bureau will be notified. You have to fix this. Zaru replied coldly. This is Remy's responsibility. Bola called next, yelling. You're ruining your brother's life. No, Zaru said. You did that yourselves. That evening, Kiana called him from an unknown number. Her voice was shaky. Can we meet? Zaru agreed. They met at a diner. Her eyes were red. He told you I asked for you to be cut, she whispered. That's a lie. I fought for you. I have proof. She slid her phone across the table. Zaru read the texts. Kiana had tried to stop it. Remy had threatened her. Don't go against my mother, one message read. You'll ruin everything. Zaru looked up. I believe you. Kiana burst into tears. I'm leaving him, she said. I can't live like this. The control, the lies. I'm done. Zaru nodded. You deserve peace. That night, he went home and paid half the loan directly to the bank. He made sure his name would be removed from all future obligations. Then he called the house one last time. Put me on speaker, he said. I've paid my part. The rest is your problem. Don't call me again. Bola shouted. Gerald begged. Zaru hung up. He blocked them all. Weeks passed. And for the first time in years, there was silence. Clean, peaceful silence. No drama. No guilt. Just space. Zaru began spending weekends on a piece of land he had bought years ago and forgotten. 2 acres of untouched forest. He decided to build something with his own hands. A place that no one could take away from him. My own space, he whispered. My own rules. He started small, clearing brush, staking the corners. His friend Depo showed up with tools and jokes. You building a cabin or a kingdom? He laughed. Zaru smiled. A place where I belong. More friends came. They helped hammer, paint, and grill food. At night, they sat by the fire, talking about anything but the past. This, Zaru thought, is what family should feel like. The cabin grew 1 beam at a time. Zaru learned how to frame walls, install windows, wire electricity. Every nail felt like healing. One afternoon, he finished the front door. He tested it, and it shut with a strong final thunk. Done, he whispered. That night, he sat by the fire, holding the watch Grandma Tay had gifted him. Inside the box a note. Asterisk, the time from now on is yours. Use it well. Asterisk. He wore the watch every day. Not for style, but for what it meant. It reminded him that someone had always seen him. And more importantly, that he now saw himself. The past no longer controlled him. He had stepped away from it, and it couldn't follow him here. This piece, he said one morning, was worth everything I gave up. The seasons changed. Winter brought snow. Spring brought growth. Zaru cleared a trail to a creek at the edge of his land. He built a bench beneath a tree. Sometimes he sat there for hours. Just thinking. Just breathing. I'm not angry anymore, he admitted out loud. I'm just free. On his 34th birthday, Zaru baked himself a small cake. He lit 1 candle, closed his eyes and whispered, Happy birthday, Zaru. No party. No forced hugs. Just truth. He spent the day planting flowers outside his cabin, laying fresh gravel on the trail, and listening to birds. I didn't win, he said softly. I just walked away. That evening, he wrote a final letter. Not to them, but to himself. Asterisk. I remember the pain, the lies, the longing. But I also remember the moment I chose myself. I forgive, not because they asked, but because I need to live. My life is mine now. My foundation is strong. And I am finally home. Asterisk. He folded the letter and placed it in a wooden box, next to his grandmother's note and the deed to his land. Outside, the stars blinked gently. Zaru closed his eyes and smiled. The cabin became more than a building. It became a mirror. Every beam Zaru lifted reminded him of how much weight he'd carried for years. Every window he installed reflected the clarity he now had about his life. On some evenings, he would sit alone with a journal in his lap, writing down thoughts that had no place in his old world. I spent most of my life proving my worth to people who only saw me as a resource, he wrote. Asterisk. Now I give my energy only where it returns to me. Asterisk. The words felt true. They felt earned. One weekend, Zaru received a message from his cousin Lamy. Asterisk. Just thought you should know. Remy and Kiana are getting divorced. Asterisk. Zaru stared at the screen, then locked his phone without replying. He wasn't surprised. He felt no satisfaction, only quiet understanding. That's what happens when you build a marriage on lies, he said to himself. Still, he hoped Kiana had found peace. She had tried to do the right thing. She had just been stuck, like he had been, for far too long. At the firm, Zaru's focus was unmatched. With no emotional weight holding him down, he led a critical bridge reinforcement project, meeting deadlines and saving money for the company. Mr. Benson called him in one afternoon. Zaru, he said, you've been a rock for this team. We're promoting you to senior project manager. Zaru thanked him calmly. Inside he felt proud, but not just because of the title. This job didn't make me strong, he thought. I was strong long before they noticed. They just see it now because I stopped hiding. That night, Zaru celebrated in his own way. He took a walk through the woods around his cabin. The air was crisp, and the stars peeked through the treetops. He reached the bench he'd built by the creek and sat down, listening to the sound of the water. This is what real success feels like, he whispered. Not applause. Not approval. Just peace.
Every story carries a lesson. If this one moved you, tap subscribe so you never miss the next twist in the journey.